What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Infinity as part of my Does It Suck series. For a lot of you, this one's probably been a long time coming, but I've kind of been dreading it because, as is well documented, I do not like this weapon. However, we're going to test it out here and see how it performs here at Overpowered Level 8 in the Washburn Refinery. The Infinity is the legendary Vladof pistol. It drops from Doc Mercy out in the Three Horns Valley. When the game was first released, Doc Mercy was actually bugged and did not drop the Infinity pistol in True or later Ultimate Vault Hunter mode until he was patched, and this was the source of a pretty significant controversy, but we won't get into that now. The Infinity obviously has the special effect of not using any ammo, and it would be firing kind of an infinity pattern if I wasn't so heavily spec'd into precision at the moment. I am going to use this with a legendary sniper comm. Some people prefer, oops, I don't have it with me, a stalker comm and a sheriff's badge with this, but I am going to use a legendary sniper comm because without it, the gun is so inaccurate that I find that it actually hurts its true potential. And if you have the precision, well, you can actually hit critical hits and the critical hit spots that you're actually aiming at. It's still not a very accurate weapon, but with 10 points in precision, it's, better than it could be. So that's why I choose to go with the legendary sniper comm. It's also going to boost several other skills that will help us, notably one shot, one kill, which will be boosting every bullet from this gun because obviously it's always going to be the first shot from a magazine. Kill confirmed might help a little bit as well, and same with velocity and headshot, those will be more significant boost. I did go ahead and put my extra points in killer, not that we'll need the reload speed, but the extra critical hit damage after a kill can't hurt. Spec'd in here to the middle tree, did go ahead and pick up Two Fang. This weapon doesn't have a fire rate so high that we won't get the boost from Two Fang, so that's nice. And obviously there are a lot of other good gun boosts in there as well, namely the boost from Death Blossom and Death Mark, as well as Ambush and Rising Shot. So we're going to go ahead and get started here and see how we do. Go ahead and get Slag and Kunai on this guy here, and we'll take him out. The Infinity doesn't suck. The only reason I was so hard on the Infinity is because for so long people said it was Zero's best option, and it is not Zero's best option. It's going to tear up trash mobs like this fairly simple, you know what I mean? However, I do find it to be an incredibly boring and uninvolved playstyle, and also it's inferior to many other Zero playstyles. I would challenge anyone to do a Digistruct Peak run at Overpowered Level 8 with the Infinity. I've never seen it done, and I imagine it would take literally forever. If anyone can do a Digistruct Peak run using only Infinities, please link me to it. I would love to see it. But I highly doubt that it's possible solo with Zero. But it's not that the Infinity is a bad weapon. It's just not a great weapon like so many people made it out to be. Like, there were people who would tell me that this is the only Zero playstyle that was viable and stuff like that for a long time. And that's just nonsense. The Infinity, it's viable, but it's not as good as melee or sniping or, a shotgun build in certain scenarios and stuff like that. And, when the game was young, people would use this to take out raid bosses and stuff like that. But, at level 50 and True Vault Hunter mode, raid bosses were little more than toilet papers, so really anything could have killed them. You'll notice that no one does any raid kills at Overpower Level 8 with the Infinity pistol because it's garbage, and there are better options. But the Infinity definitely doesn't suck for a utility mobbing weapon. It's alright. Obviously my skill build benefits it right now, and so does my gear, but you could find other gear. I am using a Corrosive Bone of the Ancients, right? You could find other gear like the Sheriff's Badge and Stalker Comm that would benefit it as well. It's just, there's no real reason to use this gun in my opinion, unless you really like it for whatever reason. It'll tear up these guys, but it's not, the same potential as Zero has with melee or sniping or, some other great guns that he can utilize very well. So, I don't know. You guys know the Infinity doesn't quote-unquote suck, but it's not great like a lot of people think it is. And I know that it was very popular for a number of different YouTubers and stuff like that, And, you know, power to them and everything. They can use whatever weapon they want. But for them to tell people that the Infinity is the best option with Zero was bad practice, in my opinion. And you'll notice that now they primarily stick to B-hawking because even this was a little bit, I don't know how I'd say it, light for them, not good enough. So, I don't know. Like, even the people who said it was so great at one point in time no longer use it because at overpower levels it's seriously lacking. So, I don't know. And obviously B-hawk's a shitty strategy for Zero too, so, you know, Zero just is such a great and fabulous character that I feel bad when I see people using such a shit strategy with him. Like, and this is an uninvolved and not very fun playstyle, so, I don't know. Like, you have a character built on accuracy and precision and critical hits or melee, and then you spend your whole time shooting a weapon that doesn't shoot straight. It's just nonsense, really. But, some people like it, so good for them. The Infinity definitely doesn't suck, you know, but it's definitely not Zero's best option, and it's not one I would recommend using by any means either. And obviously it has a fairly minimal effective range, especially if you're not spec'd as heavily into precision as I am, because that will make it even worse. And it doesn't have great synergy with Deception either, being a high fire rate weapon with low base damage, or relatively low base damage. It's not going to be one that you get a good boost from his action skill with, and, you know, it's just another reason why it's really not Zero's best option. It's a decent option. Hell, I'd go as far to say it's a slightly good option for, you know, just standard mobbing and everything if you just want to, you know, play with your eyes closed or something like that. But it's definitely not an option that stacks up at all to his better potential weapons like the snipers that he could use, namely, you know, the Pimpernel obviously, but also, you know, a number of other options like melee and shotguns and stuff like that as well. And, you know, like I said, I'm spec'd in here right now so I can kind of hit critical hits and stuff. A lot of people use this weapon just for pure fire rate, and I guess theoretically you have a higher, like, theoretical potential DPS with that, but I find if you can actually hit critical hits, it's definitely a better scenario for this weapon. So if I was going to recommend using the Infinity, and I wouldn't recommend using the Infinity, but if I had to, I'd probably recommend using it with a legendary sniper comm, because you get that huge boost to precision and also a boost to one shot, one kill, and other good skills that will help you as well. So that's what I would recommend if I had to, you know, recommend using the Infinity in some way, shape, or form. That's how I would do it. But it's still not an option that I would recommend. Zero deserves better than this mindless, you know, nonsense. But, you know, people can play the game how they want, and if they want to play with the Infinity pistol, you know, power to them and everything like that, but it's not an option that I would recommend. And like I said, it's not an option that has the potential to work its way through Digistruct Peak. I can work my way through Digistruct Peak with a melee build. I can work my way through Digistruct Peak with strictly snipers and no Moxie weapons and without even going in to fight for my life. And, you know, no one's going to work through Digistruct Peak with strictly Infinity pistols. And it's definitely not Zero's best option. It's not even one of his top 5 options, I'd say. He has so many better options than the Infinity pistol. And it just irritated me that so many people thought it was so great for so long. I think that, you know, the novelty of it is kind of wearing off, and people have experimented with Zero enough on the large scale that it's no longer quite as popular as it was. So I think that's a good thing. It shows that people have definitely taken the time to learn a little bit more about the game than people were originally, you know, willing to. And so that's definitely a good thing, because Zero is such a treat to play that I recommend, you know, everyone play him, because he's so enjoyable and he's just one of the true treats in recent gaming, and the Infinity pistol is not your best option for that. You can see here at 4-player mode that it does lack a little bit compared to his better options. In single-player mode, it really wasn't that different than a lot of other weapons, because enemies do die so quick in single player mode, but in 4-player mode you can see that it's definitely not as potent as melee or sniping or, you know, certain shotgun builds as well. So I wouldn't really recommend this weapon, but it is quote-unquote viable. So if you wanted to use the infinity pistol, you could probably get by with it. But I mean, you could probably, other than the fact that the anarchist does spend ammo like really quickly, use the anarchist to better effect, because it does have a higher potential DPS and you could actually hit critical hits with it and stuff like that. But also, you know, I think you'd get better results from using the Maggie or other pistols as well. Like, you can definitely use the Hornet and Gub to great effect as well, and you don't really need an infinity pistol for anything, but if you want to use it, it's definitely possible. It performed, you know, fairly well during this testing and everything like that. We'll see how it goes here against this big guy. Try to knock his arms off here, I guess. Get slag on him and we'll get back to it. So, I mean, it's going to kill things. It's not that it won't kill things, it's just that it won't kill things quickly. Try to kill him here before his next eye blast. Oops, didn't quite get it. Alright, so we need to find that next guy and get some transfusion trails coming, otherwise we're going to die. Excellent, we got our transfusion trails coming. Get away from that barrel a little bit, that's in a bad spot for us. Go ahead and get slag on this guy here, and we'll take him out. It's just, I would prefer to actually be able to hit a critical hit with every bullet as opposed to some of them moving around and stuff. I am spec'd into precision, so we're definitely getting a lot more than we could be. I couldn't imagine using this weapon without precision. That would be terrible. Alright, one more slag on this guy. Another set of kunai. It definitely takes a while to kill those 4-player badasses with the infinity pistol. And if you're a co-op teammate and you're using the infinity pistol, your teammates have got to be laughing at you. I mean, they might not tell you, but they would probably think you're a scrub. No offense to anyone who really likes the infinity pistol. Actually, yes, offense to people who really like the infinity pistol. Why do you like it? What is great about this weapon to you? To me, it is bollocks. Alright. I'm not even going to try to take out this guy's shield with the infinity pistol. It's so shit. Alright. If I had a shock infinity pistol, I might have tried, but no. There was no way I was going to work through that shield with that. Go ahead and get slag on this guy here. And we'll take out his arms, and then we'll move on to his eye. Need to get slag on him again. And some more. Working through it. Ugh, we're definitely low on grenades, so I'm going to try to grab a few grenades from here. Try to avoid this eye blast. There we go. Excellent. So we'll eventually take this guy down. Get some more kunai on him. Some more slag. And his health bar is done now. Excellent. So we killed him. It took a little while, but he's dead, so that's good stuff. Alright, so we'll kill the other 2 enemies in here, and then we'll be done using this weapon. And I'll probably never have to use it again, so that will be really nice. Excellent. One more. Get him nice and woken up. And he's gonna die. Excellent. So that's the infinity pistol. No, it doesn't suck. It's definitely not one of the worst weapons in the game by any means. But it is not one of Zero's best options either. And that was definitely a misconception for a long time. People thought that the infinity pistol was so great with Zero, and it's not that great with Zero. It's passable. It's definitely not impossible to use or anything like that. Man, the accuracy is so bad at long range. Gross. But it's not one of his best options. It's not a great choice, and Zero has so many better options, and he's such a great character that I would definitely recommend so many things before the Infinity Pistol. Like any number of sniper rifles, really. But also, melee is definitely a much better option for him. And a lot of shotguns as well, I feel like, are a much better option because they synergize much better with his deception action skill and fit into other playstyles very well as well. I know some people who really enjoy using the Pimpernel with the Twister, and even assault rifles like the Becca, I feel, are a much better, well, namely the Becca, not too many other assault rifles, are a much better option than the Infinity. I would rather use the Maggie as well, given the opportunity. It's just a more fun weapon to use, and that's for certain. Plus, the Infinity Pistol definitely does lack quite a bit in stopping power, and, I just wouldn't recommend it. But it doesn't quote-unquote suck. So it's definitely not my favorite weapon. You guys can use it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. Zero is a lot more fun if you don't use it because this is a boring playstyle. But, as always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. I'd really appreciate that as well. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.